person in here. Let's get some things out. Ooh. Breaking all kinds of stuff. What's up, everybody? But we're gonna change some water. Really not a water change. I mean, it's not. I usually do my water changes on Wednesdays. Just Saturday, I didn't get to. Saturday, I was gonna take some of this water out and clean the filters, and basically transfer all that dirty water and put it into this tank, the 20 rimless, just so we can add as much bacteria as possible so we can get it cycled faster. But I was gonna do that Saturday and never did, so we're gonna do it today. Probably still do a water change Wednesday. I mean, this tank probably needs an extra water change, especially this big one. Sorry. What's up, everybody in here? Whoa, what was it? Yeah, this tank, if I turn on the lights, it doesn't look dirty right now, but I've been kind of not into this tank lately just because, been too worried about this new one. I have so much money in it. I just keep focusing on that one more than anything. But Aquarium Unlimited, no, this is a 40 gallon. Originally, like 2 years ago, I was actually supposed to get a 29 gallon for this tank. For a 29 gallon was supposed to sit right here. It was supposed to be an upgrade from my 10 gallon, and I ended up buying a way bigger tank because it ended up being $5 cheaper. So I got this big thing, and I've had it for 2.5 years now. So it's been cool. The only thing I don't like is bow fronts. They are nicer. They're just a pain to sometimes. You get more kind of a build up on the bow front part, and so the glass needs to be cleaned more often. And this tank in particular, it's really tall. It's 2 feet tall, a little over. It's like 26 inches tall. So yeah, it's a pain to get to the bottom of anything on this tank, really, to clean it. This 20 rimless, it's easy as possible to clean this tank. My arm can reach. I mean, I barely have to put my arm in the tank to get to the bottom, or do anything to it. But I'm scared to flip this light on. Get down here. Oh. Yeah, this light got broken when oh no, like too bad. When I was when we were changing out these carpets in this house, obviously this tank had to get fully drained, and I went to go take off the light, and the sensor got ripped off. So now I need to solder it back on there, but the light's all screwed up. But it still works. It's just I can't change anything. So it's on a setting that I don't want it on. It's on blue and white. I usually like it on red and white, but it's fine. Honestly, it kind of looks better with blue lights, but I just like to keep it on red. Have a little bit of red in there. Oh, the fish I got in here. It's due to restock anytime. I haven't added anything to this tank for probably a good 8 months, but should be 5 or 6 neons, 2 glow lights, 2 black neons, 2 cherry barbs, 3 auto singlets. I did have 5. One died during it was dead when it came shipped, but then the other one disappeared. I don't know where it went. But I have 3 auto singlets, and then I got 1 bristlenose plankton here, which is my oldest fish. He's about 3.5 years old, maybe 3 years. And then I used to have a beta, which was my favorite fish, in here. You know, it became like the #1 fish in this tank. You know, and then it broke its swim bladder, it got frightened during a water change, and it hit against the rock. It looked fine, and then like a week later, it started swimming weird and ended up just dying on its own. So that kind of sucked. I mean, I had him for I don't know how long, like 6, 8 months. I mean, it was one of my favorite fish in here. You know, it was very out of all the betas I've ever had, I only had like 3, but this beta, the most peaceful beta, the most playful beta, like it always came up to the glass. Like I've never seen a beta like it before. It kind of sucked because his death was kind of pointless. You know, it kind of sucks when a fish dies like that. It's just, but you know, yeah, autosynclists are, you know, I've always wanted some. It's just they never had any where I was, and so I didn't want to pay like $100 online because you know shipping's like 40 or 50 most of the time, and I ended up getting a pretty good deal. I paid like 40 for like 5 of them, so I basically got shipping for free, so I didn't have to pay a lot. But yeah, I really like autos. To me they're the best. You know, if you want something that can really clean some brown algae off, or they don't do so good with the, you know, just common algae, but brown algae, they can clean up your tank pretty fast. You know, this tank was getting pretty bad. It wasn't covered, but it wasn't to my liking. And yeah, they cleaned up all of my plants. And oh, the rocks I'm not so worried about just because I can get that off myself. With the plants, I really want some fish that can clean all that off. So, but after they cleaned off, the S-Repens grew a little more, and now it looks pretty good, nice and green. But this tank, I really didn't want it to ever be a planted tank. It's just, it just kind of happened. You know, there's not much plants. There's, you know, these S-Repens, these big old long bush, and then you got some ferns back there. I never knew what type of ferns those were. It was kind of weird because I got them at, I randomly bought them and it never said the name, so I'm just guessing there's some type of fern. And then my Anubias is floating up there with some pearlweed. The pearlweed I just threw in there. I didn't really know what to do with it. I just didn't want it to die, so I threw it in this tank, and the the Plecto keeps ripping it out, so it's just floating on the surface. You know, there's nothing. Honestly, it's probably doing better floating than it is buried, because I can't find a spot to put the Nubius in this tank. You know, usually I can stick it between a rock, but I can never find a place. There's no really good spot to put it, so I always buried it. Yeah, it probably wasn't the best idea. Kind of killed it a little bit, so it being just floating probably helped it more. Honestly. Turn this around. I don't know how well. Yep, I knew that was gonna happen. But yeah, the 20 rimless, the lights are off right now. But I don't want to move this camera too much just because it's probably gonna be laggy. Lights are off right now. I don't know if I'll turn them on just because I have a kind of a schedule, but if you guys want to see it, do a little update on that. Pearlweed's doing real good. Actually, that's probably the plant that's growing the best right now. Monte Carlo's doing really good. You know, a lot of the old leaves are just dying, and then new leaves are growing in, so I'm good with that. Because at first it looked like all the plants were just dying. They just weren't looking so good, but a lot of new leaves just end up growing in, so there's a lot of new leaves now. So plus I bought some Excel, so for now, except I don't have CO2, I can use Excel. I bought like 2 big bottles of it. Should last me about a year, approximately. Probably 8 months, at my guessing. If I use it like, I'm probably gonna use it every other day. I don't think I'm gonna dose CO2 every day. But one thing I didn't realize is how much, oh, what's up, KP? How much CChem stuff I have. Like, this is just the stuff that I need for this tank. I have more CChem stuff in my other drawer. I have so much. And there's more back there. All my additives are CChem. I actually just got this not too long ago. Got my test kits, you know, my planted book. This is a really good book about planted tanks right here. And I got my tools for trimming and planting, and all that stuff, but yeah, that's what I bought yesterday. Got 2 things of Excel. I think they're like 250 millimeters. I was trying to get a 500, but they didn't have it at Petco. Because I had a gift card, so I might as well just spend it on some things I need. But that's my Seachem drawer. What's up, Bob? Dank Tanks KP. But you got a silicone in the background. Well, have fun with that. At work. You watch me at work? Well, then down here, you can't really see, but I got 2 Eheim 350s. One of them's on this tank right here. And then I just got a power strip with all that, my thing, and then Quam co-ops. I could probably start using that fertilizer now that I have some CO2 going, but probably wait like a month before I start fertilizing. I don't want to have a big algae mess, but I don't know what. Probably at work, because fish rooms aren't work technically. To us, they're not work. To other people, they might be work. To me, fish stuff isn't that much. I mean, it's really not work, you know, it's more fun. Once you do it for a long time, it does get kind of competitive. At least the water changes. The maintenance gets competitive, but taking care of fish, all that never gets boring. That's fun. Well, we got some neons fighting. Never seen that in a while. Oh, I missed your guys' comments. Shoot. Oh, here we go. Cool scape. Yeah, this scape, I'm real proud of this scape, especially in this tank. It's serious stone. I don't think nobody's ever made a serious stone scape like this. Really, it's really different than everybody else's. Oh, your fish room's in the same. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that. But I probably should turn off all this equipment and get some water going. Honestly, I probably won't even do that big of a water change. I just need enough water to probably fill it up halfway just so I can get the filters. Enough water to clean out the filters, because that's all I'm really doing today. Oh, that's very convenient. Yeah, eventually when I'm not, you know, living in this house no more, or at least on my own, I'll have, you know, I plan to have like, you know, just if I ever have like an extra room or something, I think it'd be cool to have, you know, 3 big tanks, like 3 monster tanks. I don't know. I kind of planned them out a while back ago. Um, I think it'd be cool to have maybe like a 400 or 500 gallon, but have 3 of them. So basically have 3 of the same tank. Maybe like 1 to the left, 1 on the, like, you know, have each tank on each wall. You know, have 3 different tanks of maybe 400. Oh, I can't talk. 400 or 500 gallons, and basically each one will be something different. My main one will be, because I really one day I want a couple gars, maybe some tropical gars, just something that doesn't get real big, like 2-3 feet, something that will live a long time, especially in 500 gallons. I think a couple guards would be cool. Maybe like a Stingray if it could fit in there. That'd be kind of like my #1 tank I want. And then the second tank I would make a reef tank. And eventually I'll have a reef tank on this channel, maybe like a 30 or 40 gallon cube. And our next house, that's confirmed. I'll definitely do that. Cause I honestly know way more about saltwater and I don't even keep them. So So I'm gonna have to do that one day. And the third tank would just basically be a big community tank, you know, do like a really nice scape like I have this tank, and probably just have like a big school of something, like 150 neons or 150 rum noses, just something real huge. But that'd be, you know, that's kind of like my dream to do that. But you know, that's pretty. I think I can easily do that though. That's not that hard to do, especially if I just do like one tank at a time. You know, money wise, I'll be fine. It'd probably cost like, I'm guessing, each tank probably costs 10 grand. Do like one tank a year or something. But what's up, Coop? Aquarium Coop. Everybody's in here today. My fish room will consist of 33 longs. Yeah, 33 longs are really nice tanks. It's just my only problem is just how long they are. But I would love to do something with 33 long. Because I've always liked like 20 longs, 33 longs. Those tanks, they've always been real cool. It's just the length is always what got me. I can never fit something that long. So my local fish store has like a couple 33s. Really cheap too. Yeah, eventually when I start working again, my plan is to, and I'm definitely going to make a video on this, because this is something like major, and some people say I'm like over my head, you know, because I got 2 years of high school left, and basically after we move into this new house, you know, I'll still, you know, live with my parents until I'm playing probably 25, 26, maybe longer, because the reason for that would be because back in the day when my dad used to work, when he was younger like I was, and he lived with his parents about the same, 25, 26, and he saved up to $250,000. By the time he moved out, he had that much in his bank, because, you know, his parents provided for him, you know, all the way until he was that old, and, you know, obviously he had no bills to pay for, so, I mean, the only thing he had was, you know, going out with people. That's the only money he would ever spend, you know. His parents paid for gas, you know, food, everything, and so it let him save up a lot of money. He saved up for, since he was little, probably 12 years old until he was 26, 27. So he had 250,000 by the time he moved out, and that's what that money he obviously used to buy a house when he moved out, a car, and I basically plan to do the same, but I have a different move to what I'm gonna do with the money. Okay, see you, Bob. Thanks for stopping by. Hashtag fish fan. I might actually get out that poster in a second. Still working on that. But basically, by the time I'm around 30, and I'm gonna obviously save up way more than 250,000, and then that's just basically a minimum. Because right now I got quite a bit saved up just as, you know, a teen. And, you know, it would be nice to go down, because I live in Missouri, and there's a lot of, you know, nice places down in Missouri, more down south, and, you know, a lot of places where I can start a fish store. And I've been working on it for a long time now, of what the building will look like, you know, the floor plans, everything. It's been a long time since I've got it out, but, you know, I basically have it all worked out. It's just when the time comes, I'll get that going. Basically, the plan is to make it, you know, a half and half store. You know, there's one entrance. Left would be, you know, it'd basically be symmetrical. You know, the freshwater and saltwater would basically be symmetrical. It's just what they have in it. You know, there'll be the same amount of tanks on each side, but obviously one will be solid and obviously one will be fresh. And then there'll be tanks in the middle on each side, but one side will just have all plants, and obviously one side will be all corals. And then basically anything behind that will just be all products and stuff like that. But I have a really big plan to what I want to do, and I'll make it happen. That's guaranteed. I don't care what it takes. Because obviously, I've always kind of wanted to be my own boss and stuff like that. I mean, I just don't, not gonna lie, I don't really do well, at a regular job, people telling me what to do. It's just, I've never really liked that. And me liking fish and then wanting to start a business in it and then being my own boss, it kind of just works, that'd be the most perfect thing for me, but basically I'll start off doing construction work and doing all that, because Missouri here, as long as you're good, you make a lot doing construction here in Missouri. By the time you're like 2 years into construction or work for the union, you'll make $30-$35 an hour. My brother's already, he's about to turn 18 this year. He's already making 30 an hour, and he's been in it for a year. So, it's good for him. And my dad basically makes the same. He's been doing it for 25 years now. He makes a little bit more though, obviously because he has more experience. But I plan to do the same and save up and basically, create my own fish store. And most fish stores, especially local, they're really small. I'm not gonna make mine small. It's gonna be pretty good in size. It's gonna cost a lot of money though, that's for sure. But I'd plan to call the store JD Aquariums. That's basically what I'd call it though. I don't think I'd call it anything different. I think when I was adding up numbers, I think the cost for my fish store would be about, what was I doing? About 300,000 by the time it's all done, which is a lot, because if you look at somebody like Aquarium Co-op, he basically did all the fish store he has, he did all that in about 100,000, 125,000, and yeah, for mine to be more than double that, you can honestly guess how big it's going to be inside. So, it's like now, right now, like I would have tons of tanks. I'd be like a lot of you guys. But obviously, like right now, I share this room. I was glad to even have a second tank in here. So, but definitely when I do something, when I have my own room in the next year or so, we'll definitely try to do a lot more tanks, at least to show my knowledge of what I can do. Because there's a lot of things that I can do that I've never been able to show. It's just like this plant tank. There's so many people that said I can't scape. There's been so many people. They said I can't do plant tanks, that I suck, and then I do this 20 gallon and then everybody's amazed. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I know and stuff. I just never had anything to prove it. I really need a Python. It's just none of my faucets are compatible with a Python. All my faucets are like the waterfall fancy little faucets, and so they don't work at all with the Python. So yeah, that sucks. I still have to do bucket method, but there's honestly nothing wrong. Let's see here. Oh, I have my shorts all the way up. And that's... I just need to buy a new, so I think this is... It's pretty autistic. Like the tubes don't even attach to this thing no more. I have to kind of hold it on there. I had to replant that fern because I was gonna take it out and just throw it out, but that didn't end up happening, so I just replanted it. Oh, Jesus Christ. My ghetto stand setup. Also, there's so many times I'll be filming a video and that's what'll happen. Hate that so much. I was sick. Let's see if you're still here. I didn't answer your question. Yeah, the ADA is working well. You know, I kind of messed up at first and it turned kind of mushy, but I got that all solved. Yeah, the rimless is going real well right now. You know, as far as I can get it, you know, it's going real good. Oh, geez, I'm filling this thing, dude. Hold up. Why do I still have tape on here? Okay, which filter should we start with? What's up, Raccoon Creek? I haven't seen you in a while. But guys, you know, to quick this up, I don't want to take forever, so I'm just going to end it here. I kind of just want to do a quick, you know, little discussion. But, yeah, I think that's going to be, if you guys want to ask a couple more things, I'll stay on for, like, another couple minutes. But, here's a shot of the rimless. I guess if I turn the light on. Where's the remote? Okay. Oh, wow. But that's what that's looking like right now. You know, the S-Repin, I mean, not the S-Repins, the Monte Carlo, a lot of it's like, it obviously doesn't look good right now. You can see some browning, but the good thing is it's dying, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of new growth. And so if you come up here, you can see, like, right here, like, I don't know if this is going to focus. I don't think it's going to. But you can see, like, some of it looks kind of good, but then, yeah, here we go. See the new nicely green growth. But eventually when all this nice new growth comes in, you know, we can just trim up all this dead stuff. But the pearlweed, that's growing like insanely. It's already grown, and it's barely been in here. Anubias Apete, I mean, there's some dust got on it from the last water change, but I'd hate to admit it, but I think there's already brown algae kind of growing in this tank. And I think that's from this tank transferring stuff from this tank. But I got some algae fixed now, so that shouldn't even be a problem. What's up, Dion? I saw you in the comments. I don't know if we're having fun, but doing some water changes, but we're having a fun discussion. Favorite fish for 5 gallon? Honestly, pea puffers to me. Pea puffers. What else could you do? Yeah, 5 gallon. There's not much. You could probably do some white minnows. Pea puffers, obviously. There's one Danios. You could probably do one school of tetras, like neons, but I would put nothing else with it. That's about it. You know, 5 gallon, there's not much Honestly, 5 gallon, I like seeing people have peep bubbers. They're pretty cool, especially for a 5 gallon. They're probably the coolest fish you could possibly get for a 5 gallon. But honestly, if you wanted anything cooler, you'd probably have to upgrade to a 10. Water changers are cool. Yeah, they're cool at first, not when you do them for 5 years straight. But no, they're fine. At least I'm still consistent. I never thought I'd make it this many years. Playing with my new toys, Hydro. Heck yeah. Hydrometers, that tests the salinity, right? Getting mixed up with my saltwater tools. 'Cause you said testing my knowledge, I knew I was right. Yeah, I need to eventually do a saltwater. When I get into my new house and I have my own room, that's definitely, we're gonna be doing probably a, I mean, I want to do the biggest saltwater I could possibly do, so I'm thinking, I'm definitely gonna do a cube. I'm thinking maybe 30 or 40 gallons. We'll definitely, all I know is I'm gonna have a buttload of money in that. I started kind of playing it now, just so I'm ready. And I think I had planned, like, I think it was almost, shoot, I think the tank was like 1,200, 1,500. What I plan to have in it. That's just because the most expensive things are really the lighting and then the corals I put in it, and the lights are what's ridiculous. I think the lights I plan to put on are like 500 bucks. It's just like this rimless tank right here. It's just kind of what it is. You know, I wanted to go high tech, and you definitely have to pay the price for that. You know, by the time I'm done buying, when I get the Amazon puffer in this tank, and I'm probably gonna put a zebra plecto in this tank too. So by the time I'm done, I'm probably gonna have 1,000 to 1,200 in it. And you know, that's just what it is. You know, we can't really do anything about it. You know, I wanted to have something high tech, and it's just what you gotta pay. I love Nano. It's cheaper, and you don't need to juice. You need the juice because the box is natural and doesn't break down. Yep. Yeah, Nano tanks, they're always nicer. You know, it's always nice just not having to, you know, having salt, you know, just like a reef tank. Especially like what you're doing right now, you know. It's always cool to have a reef, you know, not everybody can have a big, nice reef tank, so having a little Nano, yeah, it's definitely way cheaper and it's cool. I would agree with you. I don't know, it's just everything I do ends up being so much more expensive. I'm more attached to the really expensive stuff for some reason. I'm so mad because the light that I got on this 40 right now, I paid 100 for it, and that's what I paid for this SE on this 20 ribless. That's where Petco got me on that ripoff. Because I could have had a way nicer light on this tank. Ended up paying way overpriced for. Still a nice light though. Really bright. But for $100, I could have got something 10 times nicer. But this tank's fine though. You know, I really don't. You know, there's only 2 plants in it, so I don't really mind it being that bright. But it does its job. Your tanks are very upscale. Look at you. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks. I try my best in making everything look unique. At least in a good way. Especially with this scape right here that we're looking at. You know, I don't think there's not a single person that's ever done a scape with serious stone like that. Oh no. My tablet's dying. put this guy in the charger real quick. That would have sucked. Ooh, I don't think the charger will extend this far. We're gonna have to do a side shot now. Ooh. Well, that won't be the prettiest sight now, but it's what we gotta do. Get this thing charged. Oh. I think it went offline. It kicked me off. It just randomly kicked me off the live. Well, if it messes up again, I'll just get off so you guys don't have to worry about me messing up. So I'm probably just gonna do boring stuff after this. You kitty. Dion, if you're still here. I don't know how my channel got you into playing it. I didn't do much playing stuff until now. But I'll take it. Who else is in here? Day Takes, you still in here? Typing up something. Oh, cool. Let's start getting these filters down. I don't know if I need to clean the inside. The amount of sponge I got in this stuff. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'll be back. I have to get some. Looks like I have some towels. No, I get to go get some towels. Okay, I'm back. Gotta have some towels or we're gonna make a mess. Let me get those out. I still don't know how these S-Repids look this good under like the worst lighting you could possibly have. Like it doesn't get dosed with anything, it just sits there. The only thing it gets is light. And the light, this thing is 2 feet tall, so the light, it really isn't. I don't know if it's getting any light at all. To be honest. This is like my mechanical section of everything. Because each filter is something different. And the left apple clear is the biological. And the right one is the mechanical. It is pretty dirty, not gonna lie. I don't know if I really need to clean the insides though. Probably best to just leave it for now. And make sure you guys aren't saying anything. Easy Green. I'm not really. I did dose it in this tank. I don't really dose it anymore in this tank. Just because it's been causing way too much algae, especially when I don't dose CO2 with it. So it mostly just gets dosed in the 20 rimless. And yeah, the window, I mean, I guess it technically could help, but it's always, shaded, so no light ever comes through the window, because I was afraid the window would, cause algae. Because the window mostly just shines out, it doesn't really shine, to the left. They get into this tank. Yeah, see the right filter, this is basically, I basically just have, I don't know what that is, main two big sponges and another sponge. But I need to replace the Purigen. This Purigen's like 6 months old, I bet. I used the rest of it. This is like 200 gallons worth. And I just dumped like the whole bottle. Probably a dumb idea, but definitely keeps the tank crystal clear though. Oh, look at this. Probably not as bad as your guys's. I always freak out when there's like the most littlest amount of crap in here. But I don't know. I don't know if I should clean the containers or the filters. They are pretty dirty. Probably do that some other day though. I really don't think I need all that today. But basically, we're gonna take all this water that we get from, clean all this out, throw it in the 20 rimless. Now I just realized I just probably did the dumbest thing ever. I should have dumped out or took out some of the water in the 20 rimless first. That would have been a little smarter. And it's probably fine. I could probably just use a cup and dump some of it out. Water feels kind of cool. See, I've been trying to do the temperature on the 20 rimless. I really don't know what temperature to really put it at, because the Amazon puffer, I think, it needs like, usually the average temperature, 60, 76, 77, which is, that tank's pretty much right at it. But I'm really trying to adjust. Smells a neon. Where'd that neon go? The neon wasn't looking too good. I'd take him out. I have to take him out later. That neon's not doing so good. Yeah, those are dirty sponges. Make sure you guys aren't saying anything. Okay. Shows there's one person in here. I don't know if it's Dank or I don't know who else is in here. I see Dion uploaded. Deanne, if you're still in here. All Bill's in here. My pH is 8.4. How can I lower it while keeping stable? How old is the tank? Because that'll answer a lot of things right there. Well, at least that'll make some decisions on what we could do. Because if there's fish in there, then we might have to go a different route. But if you don't got fish in there... Okay, it's 4 months. Do you have it stocked? I guess that's the next question. Well, am I getting the Amazon puffer? When I can find one. But no, like for real though, I do have one found. I'm just not sure about it yet. It's gonna cost about $150 to get it here. It's about the only one in America right now that I can find online. So until this tank's ready, you know, I'm trying to get the ammonia at 0 right now, or at least close enough to where it's safe. But my guess is you'll see a puffer in here in about, at the most, probably a month. Next question. Okay, you got Cardinals. You have stocked Cardinals, Autos, and Neons. Playing the 20 long. Okay, so it's 8.4. Let me think. Because with my tank, I try to lower the pH too. Even though my pH isn't even that bad, it's 7.4. Basically just 1 point over yours. And I tried lowering it, but with the fish in it, that's probably... Because is there a certain reason you're trying to lower the pH, or are you just trying to lower it to help the fish's health? Because that was my reason, because I wanted, you know, the Neons to have a better pH, because their pH needs to be about 7, 6, 7, so I was trying to lower it just a little bit. And because realistically, if there's not really if you're just trying to lower it to keep the fish's or the fish's health, then the best thing is just to keep it stable where it's at. Because trying to change the pH now, when I tried doing it, it's just gonna kill everything in the tank, just because it's drastically changing the parameters in the tank. But let me see what you're saying here. Worried about fish's health. Yeah, see, that was my exact reason, and you know, I kind of learned the hard way, and realistically, just the best way is just to keep it stable at 8.4. You know, it kind of sucks that, you know, we had pHs that high, but you know, when I tried doing it, I just killed half my fish. So, I mean, I guess I could show you what I used, you know, but if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to try to do it very slowly. And I guess the only products I can basically recommend, get them out here. So basically, the first product you could use is Seachem Neutral Regulator. It adjusts pH to 7, but this ain't the only thing you need though. So if you want to lower the pH to 7, or basically get pH to 7 or lower, you're gonna need this and the alkaline regulator, which is just a whole nother product that you need to use with this. And then obviously if you wanna raise the pH, let me see. Obviously we're not trying to raise the pH, so that doesn't matter. To lower pH, yeah, it says if you want to lower, you can also use the discus buffer. Also, that's another option, but the main thing you need is this. But I did use this, but I I didn't have the other product, so I just put this. So adding just this will just harm the fish. Basically, putting way too much phosphates into the water. Because this does contain phosphates, but some people just buy this, like me. I just bought it and thinking that's gonna lower, but then if you have to read the back and realize that you need to add this and the other product. If me, but yeah, you could definitely try this. If they seem to do fine, then yeah, you can definitely try to use this product, or even API makes a pH lower or higher, and it's just, yeah, with my water, yeah, my fish didn't react very good to lowering the pH, so I just kept it where it was. What if I add some RO with my water changes? I mean, yeah, that can definitely work. That's not gonna hurt anything. It's just pure water, so yeah, as long as you slowly, gradually, obviously you don't want to just do a big water change and add it and then half it be, or at least all of it be RO water. So you could probably gradually, add RO water. You probably want to, we do a weekly water change and just do maybe 10-20%, I would guess, and just gradually keep adding and adding, and eventually you can just consistently do water change RO water. But yeah, that would definitely work. I didn't think about that. I just don't have RO water, so I never really have tested any of that. My dad has RO water, so I can mix like 1 gallon for. Yeah, it's the smartest thing to do is start small. The thing you don't want to do is just drastically change the parameters. That's just the worst possible thing, and I've dealt with that many times, and it's failed, obviously, but that's the worst thing you could possibly do is any of that stuff. Yeah, you don't want to kill anything. We have to. Most of us have so much money in this stuff, and but most of the time, the only reason you'd really want to lower or higher the pH if you're breeding, that's the only big reason. But yeah, the RO water, that could definitely work as long as you just take it slow. Because obviously the pHs are going to be different. You just have to gradually do more and more, and eventually the whole tank will get changed, and your pH should be around 7.2, my guessing, maybe a little lower. I think I will try and mix it in there. Yeah, I mean it's not gonna hurt anything as long as you just add it slow. It's not gonna hurt much. You know, Probably the worst thing to do is just add chemicals like I did. They do work, but if you're gonna wanna change the pH, I would do it right when you set the tank. Like my tank right now, cycling. Like if I wanted to change the pH, I would do it right now and get it adjusted to 7.0 or whatever I wanted it before I add the fish in it. And then once it's stable where I want it, and I add the fish in, then for the tank's life, I can just consistently keep it at 7.0 because obviously my tap is like 7.4. So I'll just have to consistently add the chemicals before the water change and just consistently keep it at 7.0 if that's what I wanted to do. But it's better if you're gonna want to keep it at a certain level. You want to start at the beginning of the tank's life. But you can definitely do it while there's fish in it. It just makes it a little more difficult. a little more caution involved. Yeah, if you're adding, your 75 gallon, if you're getting fish for that tank that need a certain pH and you want to change that, yeah, you definitely want to do that right when you set it up. Because somebody like me, I've learned the hard ways, and I don't want to tell somebody to do the same thing. I don't want to kill your fish. And the best advice is just gradually do it slow, and you'll be perfectly fine. And it might not work, and it might not. It's just like as long as you do it slow, it's definitely worth a try. But the RO water, that should definitely work. You might not get it perfect at 7.0, but you'll definitely get it way lower. You'll definitely get it in the 7 range by the time it's all done. Because mine, I was thinking about changing mine, but mine's so close to 7 that I didn't even bother doing it. Mine's at 7.4, so I just said, I just might as well leave it. As long as I keep it stable. Hands getting all wet. Well, thanks for stopping by, gave me something to think about. Definitely gave me something to, definitely gave me advice to tell somebody else now that I have that in mind. So, yeah, thanks for stepping by, watching live. But gave me something to do today. I don't have school because of Martin Luther King Day, but always like people coming by and talking about some fish tanks and helping people out. Because if there's somebody that's definitely made mistakes, it's definitely me, and I can definitely change and help somebody from doing the same thing. But well, thanks, Bill, everybody. Bill, Kevin, everybody that came by today, or at least that's in here now. I know Dion was in here, KP, Dank. All you guys, thanks for coming. I'm not gonna stop the stream, but if you guys are leaving, thanks for coming. But if you guys are gonna stay, I'm still gonna be streaming. Just over here cleaning out the sponges. Oh, I can't wait to see it either. It's gonna be very exciting. One of the rarest, well, the rarest puffer in the world. Definitely gonna be quite the fish to have. They used to be pretty, not really common, but they used to be more common than they did. Now they're just, at least where I am, they're just absolutely extinct. But, and maybe a couple months after we get the puffer, as long as I can examine that it's healthy and it's, at least if I can see that it's not, so aggressive, we could probably try I want to at least add a plecto in there, just to have him in there. Because I like to at least have some type of, not really a cleanup crew, but, because I don't really keep plectos for cleanup. That's more like shrimp and autos. But plectos, I like them just because I like the fish in general. But I definitely want to make this rimless tank. Rimless tank more of an exotic fish. There's only, at the most, there'll be 2 fish, the puffer and the plecto, but the plecto, I definitely want to do a zebra plecto. If I do exotic plecto. Everybody knows zebras are not cheap at all, not cheap. But I think I can get it a little bit cheaper, but you look on Live Aquaria, a zebra plecto is about $500-600. But I think I can get it for about half of that, a good healthy one. That'll be a big money choke, but I definitely want to do something like that, These Zebra Plectos are awesome. My favorite Plecto, by the way. You know, I was looking at stuff like Candy Stripe Plectos, Zebra Plectos. Well, not Zebra, but Tiger. You know, those are all nice. You know, they're way cheaper, but might as well go big. You know, I already have this much money now. Might as well just keep blowing money and make it as best as possible. Because this tank, I would have to add it all up again, but I know this 40 gallon have about $1,500 in it. And then the 20 rimless, at the moment, I have 600. Which sucks because it's not even close to being done, but that's whatever. But after I get the puffer, Zebra Plecto, and eventually get actual CO2, yeah, I'll have about 1,000. Well, way over 1,000. But you know, it's just what I like to do, so spending that much money on aquariums, you know, it doesn't really affect me that much. You know, I'll spend $5 on a drink and snack and I'll freak out, but for some reason I'll spend this much on tanks and I don't get affected by it. But it's just what we like. And it's what we all like to do, so and as long as we're happy. What does man say? Do I know guessing Wah? D-Wah? I'm trying to think. I don't know. Is he a fish keeper? I mean, I probably do. It's just not coming to mind right now. I'm trying live plants for beginners. Well, that'll be fun. Are you just now getting into live plants, or are you just getting some beginner plants, or you just starting? Because you definitely need help picking out some stuff. I can help you with that. I've definitely kept pretty much all the beginner plants by now. It's a nasty one. Oh, shit. Clean up the filters. Alright guys, I'll be back. I think it'll only take 2 seconds. I just gotta spray out this basket real quick. Okay. One thing, if you guys didn't know, is that like the Avoclear filters, these baskets, they're also basically like biological filtration, because all the bacteria will actually build up, you know, basically mostly on this part, you know, a lot of this, you know, but bacteria will grow all over this basket. You know, I clean mine out a lot, so most of the time not a lot will build up, but one time I'll leave it, sometimes I'll leave it, and yeah, you'll get a lot of buildup, which is pretty good if you want to keep it. Me, I just don't mind I don't really like it so dirty, so I never keep the bacteria on here, but if you ever wanted to, there you go. Just don't clean it. Put that back down there. Purigen. I do need to do an update. Because with my update, I was gonna show my filter setups, but I might have to do that in a later video. Because I haven't really showed you guys how I really set up my filters, or at least how I do my filters in a long time. Because last time I showed you guys was like 6 months ago. Not much has really changed though, I mean just a little bit. Mostly the same though. You know, once one way works, you really don't go anywhere else. Well, that's one filter cleaned. If I wasn't live streaming, I'd probably do this a lot faster, but just starting. Okay. I bought the alkali filter for my 20 gun because of you. Hey. I mean, just because I have it doesn't mean you have to get it, but alkalis in general are just the best hang on the back filters. Most people see them have canister filters now, but alkalis, I mean, there's no point in getting any other hang on the back filter. You know, you can customize any filter, but you know, I'll always recommend alkali filters. There's, you know, customize, you know, it's just way nicer because the basket you get the sponge. That's already a great, you know, sponges are great. And then carbon, yes, you can use the carbon, but you can switch it out. You can put pure gin, Kimby Pure Elite, you know, whatever you want to put in there. I used to have Kimby Pure Elite, and then I just ended up throwing it out. And I never bought anymore. I don't know why, because I really love Kimby Pure, but I just basically kept my pure gin in there, and then I think it comes with, yeah, biological filtration. You know, everything you need. But I have two 50s on here, so one of them is all my mechanical plus pure gin, and then the left one is I basically put all biological. And I think I have like a pinky filter in there, which is probably super dirty right now. I usually pretty good on checking the pinky filter, but kind of forgot about it. So that'll definitely be a fun one to pull out. We'll probably do that right now. We'll see how dirty that thing is. But I took out the basket in the left one to make more room, so I don't even have a basket in this one. Oh yes, dude. What is that, Matrix? Listen, I was expecting the sponge to be a lot more dirty, but it ain't that bad. Oh, it is dirty. Bottom's always the worst. I have like all my Biomax that it came with. Well, obviously I combined both of them together into one big bag. I only have like a little now because I added half of it into the 20-gallon rimless, just so that one gets cycled faster. But it's not much of a problem because I have a big old bag of Matrix too, so but I probably will buy more Biomax just to refill it back up, just so we get more bacteria. Just so if I ever set up another tank, I can add established one in there too. Oh yeah, sponge filters are great. I just never used them personally just because I don't like, you know, having a filter like directly in the tanks, but definitely if you have like a fish room or something, or a fish store, you know, sponge filters are definitely the way to go. Unless you just have a big sump system, but sponge filters are definitely the best. For having a lot of tanks at least. If you just have a couple tanks, I do, you know, I just might as well have a nice filter. There's a lot of crud on here. We don't look too bad. I need to get a pipe cleaner, just so I can really clean those intakes, pipes. I can get them pretty clean, but pipe cleaners, you get over that little, you know, because obviously they have this. Here, I'll get it out. So obviously all this is easily cleaned. All these like straight parts, but right here where it turns, Yeah, this is just a pain to clean, so I need to get pipe cleaners that can really, you know, that can at least clean all this in here. Cause this part, you can't even get in it, but I at least clean all this part. But this part is what gets super dirty, and you can't even really clean it unless you have a pipe cleaner or something that can move around and curve around these corners. But kind of what that is, though. Yeah, Pinky Filters got pretty. It really isn't that bad, but I expected it to be worse if I haven't changed it in 2 weeks. But I just throw that in the trash because I have a. Actually, I could probably show you guys. I showed it in one video and I never showed you guys again. But I basically have a Nike box, but I have, you know, Pinky Filters. I basically have them all pre-cut. So whenever I need one, you just pull it out. I just did this because obviously I needed to cut smaller sizes for the 20 rimless now. But all these are for the 50. And then this is the 30s. So all pre-cut. And I have another 10-foot roll of this, so I'm like good for life on Pinky Filters. They only get changed out once a week, so you know they last. A 10-foot roll will last you forever. At least a couple of years. As long as you cut them right. Let's see what everybody's saying. I have a backup odometer for quarantine tanks. Yeah, it's always a smart idea to always, even if you don't need it, like especially like in the Marine Land filters that you have a lot of space in, it's always best to just have, you know, another bag of biological just like sitting at the bottom. Even though it probably serves no purpose, but even if you just shove a sponge into there, because I remember I put a sponge, and it never got touched by the water. It was never dirty, but I kept it in there just so it's cycled. So if I ever need an extra sponge or biological media, it's, you know, it's there. It always works better, but it always works better in sumps though, because you can just shove a bunch of stuff in the sump. Always have extra media ready to go. I never needed it that much just because I never set up any other tanks, but it definitely came helpful when it came to this 20. Shoot. The material is kind of like a. I don't know how to describe it. I'll pull one out. So it's kind of like you ever seen polyfill? It's basically kind of a compressed polyfill, but you got kind of two sides. This one's more just to get the bigger stuff, and then this pink part is where this pink part filters out the smaller particles. It also traps, you know, micro bubbles and stuff like that. But oh shoot, dropped it. Slippery. But it's obviously fish safe. It's made for aquariums. This, if you go to pinkyfilters.com, this stuff is made for aquariums, so it's fish safe, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But there's stuff similar, but this stuff's probably the best. Really good, especially when to polish your water. What's up, Aquarium Unlimited? Yeah, you can get it at pinkyfilters.com. I think some other people sell it too, but pinkyfilters.com is like the main website of that's where the product comes from. But there's other, you know, separate sellers that buy it and resell it, but Pinky Filters is the main place to get it. But I basically just keep this, you know, it's just way nice keeping all kinds of pre-cuts. I don't think I've ever really showed this much, but that's basically what I do, is have a bunch of pre-cuts, and probably shove a lot more in here because you just shovel this, but I just cut enough just to have. Whenever I get low, I just cut more. It comes in I bought this about a year ago. And it comes in a bag like this. I still have that much left. That's at least a good 8 feet. But they'll come in just basically a big roll like that, and you just cut out the size you need. I guess there's the website right there. Pinkyfelter.com. I have an extra 10-gallon in the closet, but I don't use it because that's for quarantine, but we could definitely set up that tank if we ever wanted to. I like to keep it for quarantine, though. I don't really like setting up that. I don't think I'll ever set it up, though. Only for quarantine. When I get my puffer, I don't know if I'm going to quarantine it, though. Well, obviously I will, but I don't know if I'm going to quarantine it in a separate tank because there's no other fish in the 20, so there's no point just like, you might as well just quarantine it in the tank that it's going to be in because there's no other fish in it right now, so. Obviously when I get other fish to add into it, then I'll quarantine them, but except there's no other fish in it, it'll be the first fish in that tank. You can just quarantine it right there in that tank. Because Amazon puffers, I'm going to definitely have to deworm it. I'll have to buy some stuff for that. That stuff's usually online, though. I couldn't really find any local stuff that can deworm fish, but you gotta deworm it. Just basically get all that bad worms that they get from the wild, and then probably dose a couple other things, and it'll be good to go. The only really major thing I have to do is trim its teeth. That's no big deal really either. Will you deworm the puffer? Yep, I will deworm the puffer. I mean, it's not much researching, I don't do much researching anymore. I did a lot of researching back in, when I was little, and that's all I'd read is aquarium stuff, any aquarium books, and, there's a lot of stuff I know, and that is already know and don't really, but I definitely do research if I really need to, but, like, a lot of stuff I just already know, and from reading, from back in the day, just reading stuff, and, because I've learned so much about saltwater, it's been, probably a year now, but I used to just watch all kinds of videos about saltwater, how to take care of certain corals. I made sure I knew every single coral, every single equipment, every single possible thing about saltwater. I never set up a saltwater, but I knew everything possible. So I was able to have discussions with saltwater people and, actually knew what I was talking about. So it kind of helped. At least I knew what I was talking about. I knew what they were talking about, so it kind of helped. But I made myself learn every single thing. It sounds dumb, but I even printed off myself a custom test, and I would just challenge myself. I'd put a picture, what is that coral? What is this coral? And I would do the same with freshwater with plants, and I'd basically try to challenge myself and see if I could name every single plant just by looking at it. And that's basically how I'd memorize everything, and that's kind of get myself to learn everything. But yeah, I try to learn everything possible, even if I never do it. I still like to learn everything. So, an example, if I ever do a saltwater, which I will, I'll definitely be ready. I'll definitely be ready. People think I don't know anything, and when I was doing this Planet tank, this new one, or really when I was playing this tank, people thought I would just not do anything, right? And change of stories, but it's I really did know what I was doing. It's just I just haven't done it in real life. Yeah, pet stores could use me. they could definitely use me, that's for sure, but they probably won't ever get me unless, I'm never gonna actually get, I'm never actually gonna probably work at a pet store, or at least a fish store in general, unless they ask me. But, eventually I'll have my own anyways. Definitely in the next 10 years I will. I just have to, you know, by the time I'm 26, 28, somewhere in there, I'll have 200, 300,000 saved up. So, and I started, I don't know if you heard the whole big discussion earlier, but I basically already have everything planned out, that every floor plan, everything, the whole building. I basically, because then I take a lot of architecture, engineering classes, so I kind of knew how to like do everything and like plan a building, do all that stuff and do floor plans. So I kind of did my own, and kind of drew up my fish store, and I kind of have it already planned out. So when the time comes, I'm just ready. Obviously, there's way more stuff involved, but at least I have an idea, so I'm not just sitting there thinking for years of what I want to do. I have it all kind of planned in my mind, and then, but a fish store of mine, that's definitely gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. It's just when the time comes. It just won't be anytime soon, obviously, but it definitely will happen. I can promise you that. But I dream about stuff like that all the time. It's just, I can easily make it happen. It's just whether I want to. And I think for a lot of people, they'd really like that, because I know I'd bring a lot of knowledge, just like I do now, but through people that don't watch YouTube, like older people, being able to help people that don't watch YouTube, and coming into my store and see me personally, and showing them stuff. It's definitely something I'm gonna do one day. It's all just about saving up, though. Yeah, Aquarium Co-op is basically a big helper. He's helped me a lot when it came to figuring out the store I want when the time comes. But I definitely asked him, because people are saying you need to, because people are always trying to basically try to let me down, saying I can't do it, because they're trying to say I need a business degree, which is all very true. I mean, you don't need one, but it basically help a lot. And I was talking to Aquarium Co-op, and it's just he didn't do any of that. He just basically, it definitely brought more struggles to him. But somebody like me, that's at least um, I have a lot of knowledge and stuff like that. So at least when the time comes, even though I won't have a degree in any of that, I'm at least knowledgeable about how to do that stuff, and be more prepared, and have a lot more money saved up. Because the problem is, people might save up 50 grand or 60 grand, and they think they have enough money, and then they realize they need another 50,000 to finish the store, and then they end up getting loans, and they're in debt, and then they're I mean, like Aquarium Co-op, obviously he's successful now, but you know he had to work a lot of hours to be successful to where he is now. So it's just to take a lot of pressure off, me when I start. I'm gonna make sure I have all the money I need, so I don't need a loan. And that's one thing I'm not gonna do, is take out loans, and I definitely don't want to be doing that. I don't. I don't need other people's money. It's just. It's just the same as building a house too. It's just like, I mean, reality. If you want to really, the best thing is, you don't want to put out a loan. People want to. people want to get too excited. They want this thing now, like they want their house now, and so they want to take out all these loans, and then it takes 30, 40 years to pay it all off. And so, instead of waiting, well, now they owe all this money, so they kind of play themselves. The best thing to do is just wait. If you don't have the money, then don't do it. But when the time comes, I'm definitely going to play it smart. I'm not going to make dumb decisions. Yep. I mean, knowledge is everything. It's just how it is. Because realistically, if I were to go to college, it's just, there's going to be so much extra stuff that I'm going to be paying for, and I don't know, it's just a bunch of stuff that I won't actually need. It's, it's not like I'm not saying college isn't worth it, but, for me, it's just not going to be realistic. It's not like I'm going to be getting a job in, business. It's just like I'm actually making a job out of business, so it's just actually going to college for that. It just won't make sense, and somebody like me is, I at least know how to do it, so it's just, I won't be looking dumb when the time comes. And obviously, this is 10 years from now, obviously it's going to take a long time to save that much money, but, my parents, they know what I'm doing, so it's just like, they're going to allow me to live in the house for as long as I need to, paying for my gas, paying for, food, just like I am now, just paying for me to live here, and while I just sit here and save up money, I won't have to, I'll be working, but I won't have to spend a dime all these years. The only thing I'll possibly buy, the only thing, I could really buy and spend money on is if I'm out somewhere, if I want to, grab some food or out with friends, but anything else, money's just going to be racking up in the account really fast, especially when I don't have a family to take care of, there's no bills I have to worry about, so, your money's going to rack up very fast, and especially being a carpenter in Missouri, God, you're bringing home $1,000 a week, so it's just like, you're making $70,000-$80,000 a year, obviously, taking taxes out, taking out a little bit of money, I'll probably be bringing home a minimum $50,000 a year just from savings, and so you take that, and in 5 years I could probably have the money saved up, but my guess is it'll take me 8-9 years, and I'll be ready. So it's just, it might seem that easy, but I mean, obviously it's gonna be hard having that much money in your account and just not, it's hard to just have that much money sitting in your account and not get spent. You can only imagine if you had $1 million just sitting in your account and you're just so eager to spend all that, it's gonna be hard, but as long as I, stay living with my parents and, I can just sit here and save up, it realistically won't be that hard. The reality of it, somebody might say it's impossible to save up $250,000, but as long as be smart, don't spend your money on dumb stuff, just keep working, it's very achievable. It's just if you're gonna grind it out and do it or not. And I'll do it, I have money saved up now, a good amount already. I'm not gonna say how much, because that's kind of personal stuff, but all I can tell you now, it's a lot. For being this young, I have a lot of money saved up, and that's facts. Way more than the average person would, because you get yourself trained into just saving up money. That's what I've always done, saved up money. It's what I did for this 20 gallon. I saved up for 8 months for that tank. Obviously I already had the money to buy that tank, but I didn't want to spend that money, so I saved up, a little money here and there, and it eventually racked up to enough where I could buy that tank. So it all works out, but well, I should probably dump. Well, thanks, Bill, for subscribing. It definitely helps one by one. What are we at now? Like 325 or 322? I don't know how many subscribers we're at. I don't check very often. My goal for this year is definitely hit 500, which that's very achievable. You know, we hit 300, but really we hit 300 in like half a year because I didn't have that much subscribers, and then once I had about 100, that's when I really consistently got subscribers. You know, but you kind of just have to grind it out. You know, I was making videos that were really good, but nobody would watch them, and I put all that time and effort into them. But you know, you just have to keep doing that, and eventually it'll just start getting subscribers. You know, I only had 10 subscribers, but I was uploading daily, and you know, I just kept doing it. Eventually I had 50, and then I had 100, and then now I'm at 300, so you just have to keep doing it. Sometimes it is kind of frustrating when you only get 20 views, but you know, it'll eventually pay off as long as you're consistent. You know, we have a good channel here. You know, I don't clickbait, I don't do any of that. You know, I just, you know, some people might complain that, you know, my quality isn't the best, or, you know, some people, a big one is like, I'll talk about a fish, but then I don't actually have it. Well, I mean, I get that, but, you know, I'm just here trying to give knowledge, you know. I've kept every fish at one point, you know, I've been keeping fish for 10 years, so I've kept everything at a certain point. Just because I don't have it right now, it's just, you know, I get that you want to see the fish in person, but, you know, I just like to talk about fishes that I've kept and everything you need to do to be successful keeping it. But some people just don't get it, but you just gotta do it. You know, there's always gonna be haters, though. I have plenty of them, and I know every single one of them, but I know this channel isn't perfected. It's not some fancy editing. Actually, there's no editing at all. I've never edited a video ever, so that's kind of puts a perspective in everything. You know, I don't edit. The only thing I possibly do is add an intro, which obviously if you watch my videos, you've seen my intro. That's the only thing I possibly put in my videos, but everything else, it's just raw footage. Which, if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just how I do stuff, and eventually we'll start editing videos. I just don't have a camera right now or a laptop to do anything on, but eventually we'll get to that point. But for now, we just have to, you know, use what we got. You know, it could be worse, I guess you could say that, but I plan on plugging you on other channels. I mean, yeah, that's true. You know, I definitely think I give more knowledge than most people. You know, not to put people on spot right now, but somebody like James, 30,000 subscribers or wherever he has, same age as me. Yeah, he has a big fan base, and you know, lots of tanks. You know, does his videos are cool. You know, he's funny, but it's just like at the same time, watching his videos, somebody like me. I mean, it is true. I mean, he doesn't know everything. That's facts right there. You know, he's only been doing aquariums for like at the most like 2 years. I mean, and even that he hasn't really took it serious until now. You know, he kept a lot of small tanks, and he doesn't have the amount of knowledge that somebody like me or you guys right now. I mean, something like Aquarium Co-op, H2O Plants, King of DIY, Rachel O'Leary, you know, Aqua Pro. All of us, we spent years, I mean a decade, doing this stuff, and we have way more knowledge, but we don't get the subscribers for it. But it's just what it is, though. You know, all people like the more comedy, funny people, good-looking people like James. It's just what it is, though. You know, there's no hate towards him. It's just he doesn't have the amount of knowledge that some of us have. But his channel is really good, though. I mean, I'm proud for him. You know, it's a very good channel. Go back to the chat here. How many tanks do I have? At the moment, 2. Just because of the space. I don't have enough space to put, you know, multiple tanks, but we'll get there. I found you while searching for filters. I like your honesty. Yeah, I mean, it's just like sometimes sometimes I do come off like, I wouldn't say rude, but like not really rude, but like some people like they don't like how I talk about, like sometimes I'll be in comments of like other fish keepers, and sometimes they might, you know, obviously all the time I'm always positive, and if you're a fish keeper, I instantly like you. You know, I love watching all you guys' videos and we learn together. But there's just some people, it's just like you're giving people wrong information. You know, you're telling people to do stuff when or telling them information that's not true at all. And it's just, I hate when people, it's like if you know or you don't know. It's just like if you don't know, just don't say anything. You know, save that video for a future video when you actually do know. You know, I'm not going to say anything I don't know. You know, obviously there's certain things I don't talk about because I don't know. You know, I'm not going to make up stuff just to sound smart, honestly. But I'm just going to share the information that I know. And that's just, you know, what I think, but, you know. But it's just like, King of DIY, you know, obviously most subscribed fish YouTuber, and, you know, he gets people in his comments all the time, and you guys might see him. There's people all the time, like, saying that he's doing stuff wrong. It's like, you know, I got some words to say about them. You know, I reply to them all the time. It's like you're telling them to do stuff that you don't even know. There's people telling them what to do when they don't even have tanks themselves. It's like, you know, I can see why. Like, if you ever watch on Instagram, if you watch King of DIY's live streams, you can see how frustrated he gets sometimes because people ask him dumb questions, and it's like, you know, I can feel it. You know, I definitely agree with all the stuff he says. He might, you know, when you talk to King of DIY, it's just like he might come off mean. You know, people think he's like a mean person in person. You see him in live streams, that's when his real personality comes out, and you might think he's mean, but people really do be asking dumb questions. It's like, just watch, you know. You don't have to comment anything, but yeah, I mean, you know, I don't get so much hate now, but you know, definitely I'll get comments on videos from like back in the day, and it's just, yeah, I can get why you're hating because back then I was the smartest out of all people, but you know, I combined fish that shouldn't be together. I put tiger barbs with neon tetras. I put cichlids with neons. You know, I've done dumb stuff, but obviously that's how I learned. You know, I lost a lot of money doing that, but now I know what not to do. But you can definitely check out, you can definitely check out back when I did that stuff though. It's pretty funny. Surprisingly, tiger barbs actually did work with neons. At least for me. I wouldn't recommend doing that for you guys' tanks, but I never get a lot of hate for that. It's just what it is. But check the comments here. How do I get rid of this thing? I never reply on one person. Hold up here, let me see. Check something. I'll get to your question. Yeah, you need to dump out this 20 gun. Shit, make sure you guys aren't saying anything. Vince, are you talking about the algae? Okay. Let me see here. Well, that type of algae, I haven't had it personally, not a lot, but it happens when you have ammonia in your tank, considerably like a lot of ammonia, or at least you have ammonia spike, and that kind of feeds that algae. But um, the best thing to do is reducing the nitrates. Um, you know, first you want to test everything. Um, Ammonia, nitrates. I think you just said, hold on. I have spot treated with H. Didn't worry, no ammonia tank. I've always tested. Well, that's weird. Let me see. I'm trying to think because that's usually the cause of that. I don't know, for that algae, it could be anything. It could be a phosphate spike. It'd be a lot of things, because ammonia is a big one. That's what really causes it, but if you don't have no ammonia, then I don't. Shoot. But if it's do you have any like, if you, I think one thing that could work is if, I don't know if you have shrimp or not, but shrimp will eat that algae. They'll eat that. They'll eat all that algae actually. Because if there's no ammonia, then I don't know. I personally don't. I mean, I'll be honest now. I personally don't even know what causes it other than algae or a phosphate spike. But it might, the problem might be fixed now, and you just have some leftover algae from that. And if you have anything that can eat it up, um, I've always tested. Yeah, I've been fighting for a month. Man, so if you have shrimp, man, I don't know what I I really don't know what else you could possibly do. I mean, you have everything. I mean, yeah, like Bill's saying, algae just feeds off light and ammonia and all that. So, like me, I mean, obviously I didn't have the exact algae, but sometimes turning off the lights for 3 days, maybe 2 or 3 days, just completely turning them off and just leave them off for 2 or 3 days, and sometimes gets rid of that like instantly. And I didn't think that would personally work until I tried it. I would turn the lights off for 2 or 3 days, and then everything just disappears, like it's just gone. And it's surprising because sometimes your shrimp might be actually eating it, but it might be growing even more because the light's just like feeding it. So the best thing, I mean, if you've already tried everything, I would just say turn off the lights and just leave them off for um, maybe some maybe 3 days. I've left the light off for like a week. I've done weeks without lights, and you don't have to go that extreme, but maybe 2 or 3 days without light, and see if that changes anything. And if you have any chemicals that could or anything that can like algae fix, you could probably dose that and then keep the lights off for 3 days and to see what happens. Because if you've already tried everything, I mean, might as well try that. At this point, because if it's been dealing with a month, yeah, I have no clue what could be going on. Let's see what you guys are saying. I reduced mine to 6 days and the algae stopped growing. Someone said try pure juice. Well, Seachem Excel, I actually have some of that. But all Excel is CO2, liquid CO2, which I personally don't think that's gonna do anything because I really that's probably gonna promote the growth of algae really. But I have it right here. Um, but I don't think Excel is really gonna work. I guess you could try it if you had it, but all Excel is liquid CO2 and carbon. So Jake Gamble, this is 40 gallons. Um, but yeah, Purigen. I mean, Purigen ain't gonna do. It's gonna take out that ammonia and phosphates, and obviously give you crystal clear water, but it's definitely gonna get your parameters right. It's just usually just because you have the parameters at 0 now, the algae's still gonna be there. Um, so most of the time you just have to kill it by using maybe algae fix, or if you have shrimp that can clean it all off, and then everything will go back to normal. But personally, I haven't dealt with something that extreme, so I can't really have. Oh, Aquarium Unlimited. I could tell you all kinds of. I have, I have green spot algae right now. I've been dealing with it for quite a while right now. Well, at least in this tank, there's some back here, and green spot algae. There's don't. I mean, kind of the same thing what we've been talking about. I would just leave the lights off, scrub it off, leave the lights off. But the reason green spot algae even occurs is because there's something that's not correct. Because if you have a significant amount of CO2, like basically if you're either not getting enough of something, either that be fertilizer, CO2, or lighting. One of those three is off. So when one thing's off, that just promotes the growth of green spot algae. So you just kind of have to figure it out. So if you haven't, I'm guessing the CO2 is probably not a problem if you have CO2, but sometimes if you have a planted aquarium and you don't have CO2, or you don't dose anything, sometimes that's really going to promote the growth of that stuff. And at least for me, that's what happened. And so sometimes you just have to reduce your lighting. That's the best thing. At least for my tank, that's what I had to do, because I don't dose CO2 or fertilizer, at least in this tank. So that's the best answer that I could really say. Scrub it off and leave the lights off. I would use a razor blade to get it off, because this stuff is impossible to get off. If you try to use like a scrubber or something, or an algae mag, which they work pretty fine, but usually you have to get something sharper like a blade or something, and it comes off. And I would leave the lights off for some days. I can get it off. I tried scraping it, but it won't come off. Very hard to get off. Yeah, it is very hard to get off for some reason. Yeah, that algae just like permanent. Even when I drained the whole tank and scrubbed it all down, still didn't work. Stuff's like, especially if it gets on plants, that stuff is permanent. Will the algae die from the light of loss, or just stop growing? Well, if you reduce the light or just straight up turn it off for 2 days, or at least some days, it's gonna stop growing. That's the definite, because that's just what it's feeding off of, is light. So if you scrape it off and turn the lights off, that's definitely gonna do something. It's not like it's gonna do nothing. That's definitely gonna reduce the growth of it. And I would say if you're dosing fertilizers, lower your dosage. Because that was the main problem. I didn't get green spot algae until I started dosing fertilizer, and then I just totally stopped dosing it in this tank, because this tank didn't really necessarily need it. So once I dosed it, green spot algae started growing like crazy, and then I stopped. And then once I stopped fertilizer, it just stopped growing. So if you're using fertilizer, I would just reduce it. But because sometimes people overdose a little bit, and then that just feeds the algae, and it just grows everywhere. But especially if you don't have CO2. Go back up here. Not in this tank that you're looking at right now. I don't use root tabs. In this, what is this percent at? Ooh, it's at 12. We'll risk it. So in this tank, I have ADA soil, so that's already a bunch of nutrients. And then underneath this, I have the power sand, which is like a rock type material or like a clay that's underneath this that you can't see right now, but that gives it extra nutrients. But I'll eventually have root tabs, maybe when the ADA soil doesn't really give much nutrients anymore, but at the moment, no. In this tank, I don't really need it either, but I do have root tabs eventually, because I'll eventually have to put root tabs in this tank. But I got the whole CChem. I got it all. Because CChem's legit like the best. I got Purigen, I got that's Matrix. 2 things Excel, Amagard. I have some other stuff too, I forget what the other one's called. I basically own every single thing a CChem has. Even if I don't even need it, I just buy it, just in case if I ever need it. This stuff works pretty good. Reduces ammonia. And stability, I use this a lot. And obviously Prime. But then obviously in my test kit, I use the Master Kit. That's usually a pretty popular one between all of us. Because you can get the test strips, but oh my god, they're expensive. At least for that, if you pay $40 for that kit or 30 or whatever you pay for it, at least it'll last you quite a while. But I would turn off this light, but I don't want it on right now because I don't want to promote any algae from growing at least in this tank. But I don't know if you guys watched my videos on this, but this stand I actually built myself. I have a wood class, so I built this whole stand for this tank. Have a drawer, and then I have obviously have all my equipment easy green in there right now. All my power cords are in there, but yeah, might have to build some more stuff in woodworking. I might have to build me a little shelf inside there so I can put all my because all my chemicals are in this drawer right now. I might have to build a shelf inside there so I can just hang them all inside the stand and use this drawer for my tools and stuff. But yeah, good building skills. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I'm in the 3rd year of woodworking, so there's basically woodworking, which is like beginner, and then there's advanced woodworking, which is 2nd year, and then there's the 3rd year, which is, I don't know what you call it. They just still call it advanced, but it's basically like advanced woodworking. That's what I call it. But I'm in the last year of woodworking. I'm in basically the most advanced you can get, and then I'm also in advanced welding, and I'm in engineering and architecture. So I basically take it all when it comes to that stuff. And then next year I'll be in construction, which will be a whole nother school. It'll basically be half a day at that school and then half a day at my regular school. So yeah, by the time I'm out of high school, I should be professional. But yeah, that stand, actually everybody in my class built that stand. And it's supposed to be a nightstand. I ain't gonna use no nightstand, so I just turned it into a fish stand. But probably gonna open up this window so I can start dumping out this 20-gallon water out so I can replace it with this. What time is it? I've been straining for 2 hours? Jesus Christ. Shoot, it's already 12:30. At least where I'm at. Let's see here. I'm gonna go get some, be right back. Be like 2 seconds. Okay, so I grab me a. Oh shoot! Oh. Why did I scream? My food just dropped right into the bucket of water. Oh, I wish I videoed that. It's okay. It's in a bag. We're good. I give me some snacks. Got me a Tweaking a cupcake. We eating healthy today. Where's my cup? Okay, where's my cup? Are they? Okay, I got me a cup so I can start. Probably after I change out all this water, I'll probably end this. Just so we're not. Because this side's been going on like all day. I really only wanted it to be an hour long, but. Pretty good Twinkie. Oh, wait. We're out here in a snowstorm right now. Gotta take these. We're tearing proper window. Yeah, in this house, the blind or the what are they called? The screen's on the outside, and so because this is a crank window. So you just lift that up, and then you just crank this, or at least attempt to. Or not all. This window's so frozen. Now you just crank this. And it opens up the window. Oh, it's cold. Ain't that bad though. Yeah, well, since I'm dumb and filling up this bucket first, we're gonna have to take out this water by cup. Shouldn't be that bad though. Okay. Make sure you guys aren't saying anything.